I've got this agent that does code reviews for me, and right now it's kind of doing them ad hoc, one at a time, and I want it to be a little bit more controlled, systematic. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to use GitHub comments on each commit, so it knows if it's already reviewed a commit or not. And it doesn't have the tools it needs right now. So what I'm going to do, I asked it to come up with a plan. It says we have a number of skills and actions, but we don't have anything for commit and comments, right? So I'm going to get rid of, these are all my other agents that are working right now. We'll just focus on this one. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it work through this. I'm going to have it write the code so that it has the tools to access GitHub, and then test those tools, and then add those tools back to itself without restarting. So yeah, can you then go ahead and write those new tools in the GitHub utility class that you already have, and you're going to need to write test cases, test that they actually work, and then wire them up through ProtoScript so that you can use them. Create this as a local task with those acceptance criteria and work through it until completion. So now it's going to start working. I got the GPT-454 High model on. I like to use that one most of the time, but we can easily switch it to Grok or Gemini. And what it's going to do, first thing it's going to do is, it's going to load its context prompt, which is the code in context. It's going to create a plan because I asked it to. It searches the ontology to see if it, anything it needs to know from its previous memories, finding candidate actions that it can use. So what it's doing now is it's synthesizing its tools that it's going to use for this task. Now, this isn't the first thing it's done. I've been working with this for quite some time. This has been going all day. It's been doing code reviews. We've been talking about this issue. Yeah, so here it was doing a review. It found a little minor issue. And it's working pretty well, but I just want it to work more autonomously. So that's why we're giving it the ability to comment on these commits so it can see if it's already done something and that kind of just move forward by itself. So it's doing a bunch of stuff now. It's writing code. It's a lot of it's planning. And I can switch over to other tasks while it's working. And that's usually what I do. I usually have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 things going on at the same time. And so I'll go check on another task, see what it's up to. All right, so this was, I was asking it actually to implement a change to itself in real time. I want this little Buffaly logo to be over here when we collapse the screen. So let's see if it was able to do that correctly. So yeah, I mean, that looks decent. I'm not a designer, but it's pretty good. And what I do, I like to queue up tasks as I find them and just put them over here in my shelf. And I have, yeah, so this is a good one. When we're transcribing and we hit the shelf button, it should end the transcription and wait for the transcription to end. So this was a little bug that I saw. I attached a screenshot to it. So I'm going to go ahead and send that now. And you can see the problem was I had a little transcription going, and I hit the shelf button, and it didn't end the transcription. So I'll go ahead and fix that. So it's going to start working through that problem. Go back. You can see that the code reviews is still working here. I've got a couple other things going on right now, but we can see what code reviews is doing. Everything that it does, all the tools, are accessed through code, and it uses a language called ProtoScript to do that. So right now it's writing ProtoScript, creating a backup here. And it probably will, but I'm going to just show you. Make sure you use the codex tool to write the C# code. Sometimes it'll get clever and try to do it on its own. So let's steer the conversation while it's doing that. Something else neat to look at is while it's working, is this thing called the System2 Watcher. What it does, this is like a conscience for the agent. And its only job is to make sure that the agent is on track all the time. So every time that the agent does something, the conscience, the System2, scroll up here, the System2 gets a summary of what happened. The tools it called, what the user wanted, and a little bit of information about the ontology that it accessed. And it makes a determination based on that. Is the level 1 on track? Should it keep going? Has it completed all the goals? And this time it decided, okay, continue silently monitoring. So we just got another message in. This was our original message. And I guess that turn's done. So it's going to evaluate based on the tool calls. It's going to evaluate what happened. So in this one, it's sending a message back to level 1. And we can see what it does here. So this codex is running. We can see what it's doing inside of here. It's asking codex to make some changes. We can also directly interface with codex right through here. Here's the here's the messages from codex. Okay, it implemented the helpers, blah blah blah. And let's see what it's doing with it. Okay, so now it's firing up another codex session to work in another location, which actually is this location here, the Buffaly agent web. So it's probably wiring in its ProtoScript right now. Okay. I guess while I'm waiting for that, one thing I can show you is that this works on my phone as well. Code reviews. That's right. All right. So now I'm looking at this on my phone. I got a flip phone, so I can do widescreen or normal. And scroll down. All right. So we can see the same things happening on my phone that's happening on the desktop, which is pretty nice. So I can take this with me and check on it while I'm working, while it's working. You can see what it's doing here. We can also look at the Scratch file, the plan, its current working plan. This is what it's working through right now. Implement GitHub commit comment read write helper. Wire comment read write through Buffaly. All right, so that's what it's working on. Also a Scratch where it can kind of just keep notes. One thing is that the memory is very robust, so it cross compactions, long conversations. It doesn't have any problem remembering details, and long-term memories get stored into the ontology anyways. And then when we're working on a particular task, we usually use this task feature here. In this case, we have just our acceptance criteria. It's going to require before we say this task is accepted. Buffaly kind of has a free reign to decide how it wants to use those files. It's more for Buffaly than for me. I guess one of the other things I can show, let's create a new session. Let me show you here. I'm going to show you, we use Codex a lot. We use OpenAI a lot, but we can use whatever we want, basically. So let's try Gemini. We'll create a new session, a new agent. So this is going to be a Gemini agent here. Let's give it a second to reload. An image generating. Can you generate a image of a very happy buffalo doing some coding work for me, like cartoon style? Okay, let's see where we're at now. It's been a few minutes. All right. It has created the C# code for me. Codex has a hard time with network policy. Buffaly doesn't though, so we'll just have it finish. Let's see, commit comments. So just do the building and testing yourself, and then move on to the ProtoScript. Along the side here, you can see the primary agent. We also have this sub agents. If we have a Codex agent, it's there. We can have as many sub agents as we want. This one here created a bunch of sub agents to do various things, but it doesn't matter. You can have as many as you want. Generally, Buffaly manages its own sub agents. I don't deal with it. You don't need sub agents. It's not like other systems where you have to have sub agents to manage context. Sub agents are basically, I use them to like stay on a task generally, or like a separation of responsibilities. Okay, looks like it's done. Took a little break, went outside for a bit, and now let's see what it says. Everything's passed. Everything's been updated. And the ProtoScript compile. It was because of the stale assemblies, but that should be fixed. Now let's see. All right. Let's see what happens. All right, looks like it's working. All right, so let's do an actual test here. All right, a minute. Tell me the. Oh, okay. The conscious, the level 2 agent is telling it to do. Okay, add GitHub. See what it did here? It did not have that tool before. Now it has run it, and it looks like it's working. Let me see if this is valid. All right, so share this tab instead. So it looks like it's working. Go back here. All right. So smoke test passed end to end. Everything's good. So that there you go. That's an end-to-end example of Buffaly writing a new C# tool and adding it to itself without restarting. And we can actually show you how it looks inside ProtoScript. If you're curious. All right, so this is the ProtoScript action that it created. And this is really what we're important part here, the prototype. This is a node in our ontology. It's an executable node. It has a function in it. It looks a lot like C#. It supports C#, a lot of C# functionality. I actually don't like it when it does all this because it should do it inside the actual C#. But here it calls the code that it just wrote. So it wrote the code in C#, compiled it, imported it as a DLL, and then wrote the ProtoScript so it can call that, added it to itself, and then dynamically invoked it. And here is the code that it wrote. This did not exist before we started this video. So that's basically the setup I use. You just saw